Episode 5, selling and marketing, my favorite topics. I'm excited to get into this, but first, don't forget about our website, wackyteacherpreneurs.com. We're so excited to work with you on these things and individualize this information to your business, your goals, your dreams. I'm like really, really looking forward to meeting teacherpreneurs who are interested in working with us. Because if you're interested in working with us, we are so interested in you. And like we've said in all of our previous episodes, your ICA, your ideal customer avatar, your potential customers, your audience, they are everything to your business. They are so incredibly important. They are the most important thing to your business. So you, whoever you are listening right now, you are really, really, really vital. And we're just so thrilled that you're listening. And we hope that you're loving this as much as we're loving putting it out there for you. So go ahead, go to wackyteacherpreneurs.com and see what we have in store for you. We'd love to work with you. So work for you, really. So Jess, we're going to talk about selling and marketing. And I can't wait to share all of the big, stupid mistakes we've made in these arenas.
Yeah, we've made so many because I think, as a new Teachers Pay Teachers seller, and I'm not saying that everyone listening is going to be selling on Teachers Pay Teachers, but I know for me personally, and probably you, we, like we've said in previous episodes, we started with a product. And what did we do? We just made a product and listed it on Teachers Pay Teachers. And then you just kind of wait to see if it ever sells. Right? You just kind of like wait for the money to roll in. You get enough products together, you're going to start seeing a little check from Teachers Pay Teachers every month. And then you're like, okay, cool, I'm done, but you do start thinking about your sales and you start thinking, oh, wow, like I sold 5 products this month. What if I had sold 20? Or what if I sold 50? Or you start hearing stories about people that are your peers and they're selling way more than you. And you're just like, oh, I want that too. Right. And I think that FOMO is what gets people into sales and marketing, like that side of the business, because it's not a very natural jump to go from a public school teacher to someone who is selling and marketing a product, even though that's what we do in our classrooms all day long. We're selling the love of learning to kids, right? We're selling them on whatever standard of the day it is, whatever lesson we have prepared. We're trying to get them excited. And it's hard to think about us doing that with a product because that means we're profiting. And there seems to be kind of like a yucky cloud of murkiness around, oh, you're a public servant and you want to make money. How dare you? You're supposed to be a martyr. So anyway, today we're going to talk about selling and marketing. So if you do feel a little weird about it, just because of the nature of our careers and not like we're supposed to be not caring that much about money and just being change makers, hopefully this episode will make you feel a little better about it. So yeah, and we're going to talk about SEO, which is search engine optimization. Did I get that acronym right, Amanda?
Yes, you did. I do. I feel like our outline doesn't have that stuff about the yuckiness, like feeling kind of yucky or icky or like salesy when promoting your product. And I do have some things to say about that before we get into SEO. So I paid for a coach for a whole year, and she's amazing. I absolutely love Kelly Wise. I'm just going to name drop right here. She's a former teacher. She left the classroom years and years and years ago, like 6 or 7 years ago. And she's a coach and she's a business coach. I think she's kind of changing directions a bit right now, but she's so knowledgeable, and she helped me with that whole, like, get over that feeling of being like some icky salesperson just trying to make money. And the way that she helped me get over that is, again, to think about how my product and my services are helping people. And if I don't market it, those poor people are not going to get my help. They're not even going to know that I exist. And that's sad. So it's my job to sell myself, because if I don't, then these people are still going to suffer and without me, And so, like, thinking about it in that way really made me feel better about it. So I wanted to say that before we go into SEO. And we are going to go into SEO. We're going to go into platforms that you can use to sell. We're going to talk about what launching a product or a business is all about. We're also going to be talking about the types of marketing that you can do. So that's what's in store for this episode. So on to SEO, unless you want to talk about more about this icky feeling of being a salesperson more, Jess.
No, but I think it kind of loops back around to, like, if you start with wanting to solve a problem for someone else, it kind of makes that yucky feeling go away. Like, but you really have to believe that your product is solving a problem, or your service is solving a problem. And then if you look at it like that, you shouldn't really feel yucky about trying to make money from it, right? Because you're solving someone's problem, and that solution is worth some cold hard cash for you.
Yeah. Well, and like, you can't do the work you do without getting paid. I mean, how expecting teachers to, like, not only have a teaching job, but also to, like, give a bunch of stuff for free away. Like, that's just cruel. Like, why would we? I mean, of course we do give a lot of value for free away initially to, attract the right customer and, like, to build awareness around who we are. So yeah, there is a place for free things, but not all of it. Like you said, like, we're not martyrs. We're human beings with families and, like, personal lives and, like, mental health that needs to be taken care of and, like, bills to pay.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like what I said before is SEO stands for search engine optimization. And it just means no matter what website you're on, it probably has a search function. We're used to Google, but Teachers Pay Teachers has it. Amazon has it. Your own website has it. A lot of these websites, these platforms that you're going to sell, Pinterest is huge.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are going to have a search button, and it's all about what do people type in the search to find, because they're going to the search because they have a question, they have a problem, and, like, your product could be what solves their problem. That's how you have to see it. Like, when you're a customer, like, think of all the things you Google on a daily basis. I Google probably 25 problems a day. I got a lot of problems, right? I'm always just like, right? But there's teachers out there are Googling whatever you've created. And even if it's not a teaching product, whatever you've created, somebody is Googling. They're trying to Google your product, right? And so I see SEO as, how do you use the right words and description so when people are Googling their problem, they land on you as an answer, your product as an answer, your service as an answer. I'm hoping with our podcast that eventually people are Googling, how do I make more money on my Teachers Pay Teachers store? Or how do I start a small business? I'm a teacher. Or how do I make more money selling my lesson or something? And they stumble upon our podcast and our information out there in the world. Like, that's what I want. I want our SEO to be attracting, people that are struggling, like the people that I want to help. And so I know Amanda is actually really good at ranking on Google. Do you want to explain like what that even means? Like, how do you, and I know even a Teachers Pay Teachers product can rank on Google, like anything can rank on Google, right?
Yeah, it can. And that's why it's so important to have a website, because Google is where I get all of my traffic to my website. I mean, it really is the foundation of Amanda right now is my website, not my Teachers Pay Teachers store. And I'm just now, because I just joined your data playbook, which is amazing. And it's for more experienced Teachers Pay Teachers sellers, I would say. But like they really have taught me how to really look at the data and the statistics of my products and my Teachers Pay Teachers store and get really smart about paying attention to where my products rank in the TPT search. So like, I mean, you can test all of this stuff out by just typing keywords into TPT search, just on the main homepage or into google.com. And so like, for example, if you type into Google mentor text for middle schoolers, my website will be the first hit. I mean, and that's probably, that is one of the biggest traffic sources to my website is and the reason that comes up first is because so many people are searching that and my website's getting a lot of traffic, so Google has these crawlers. I think that's what they're called. They crawl your website and they learn about like, what are the key terms, words. I mean, it's a robot, right? So what are the words that people are, and what are the posts that people are clicking on the most, so whatever ranks first on Google, it's the most popular thing being clicked on the internet currently for those keywords. And someone else, like I can go look this up right now on Google, like, and I recommend doing it incognito because, Google like has, it has like a history, it keeps track of your history. And so it'll like the cookies or whatever, see, we're getting technical here, but like, I'm just going to search mentor texts for middle school and see what Google comes up with. Yep. Mine's first still, but it doesn't like it won't always be like you listener could write an even better blog post that's even more helpful. And then suddenly your blog post will go above mine. So like the rankings change every day on Google and on these search engines, depending on like, what people are putting out there on the internet. So I don't know. And honestly, I'm not an expert on SEO. Like I don't know. I just wrote a really great blog post and it's really popular. So it's ranking on Google, and like, so someone will click that and then they'll go to my website and then suddenly there's a pop-up. There's an event, a 3-day like planning boot camp. Oh, I want to do that. And then they give me their email and suddenly they're on my email list. And now I can email them and really develop a relationship with them through my emails. And, this is your customer journey. This is like, what are the what are the breadcrumbs that you're leaving around on the internet that people are going to pick up? And then they're going to be like, ooh, I want a piece of this cake. And then they become a buyer. And then you continue selling, even when someone's made a purchase, you continue emailing them, you continue providing value. And then eventually someone who buys something from you once is very likely to buy something from you again. I'm sorry, I'm going on and on. Please interject.
And, I mean, I think, again, Amanda has so much experience. Like some of this might sound a little above your head if you don't have your own website or you have never blogged, but this is kind of how it all starts, right? Is like you create a product to solve a problem. You got to get real clear about what problem you're solving, and you have to start learning the keywords that people search when they need that problem solved. right? Like what exactly are they searching when they need that? And the cool thing about Teachers Pay Teachers, if you're listening right now, is you're like, oh, I'm a new Teachers Pay Teachers seller, or maybe you've been a seller for a few years, but you're not that happy with your profits so far. I mean, 90% of the time, it's because you don't have the right keywords in your title or your snippet, which that's like the first few sentences of a product description. So a lot of times it just means that you're not really narrowing in on the keywords that people are searching. And the cool thing about Teachers Pay Teachers is we talked about how there's cookies that, they track everything that you type on Google. But if you go to Teachers Pay Teachers, it doesn't necessarily track everything you type, but it'll tell you everything everyone else has typed before you, right? So like if you go in and click like 5th grade writer's workshop activities, other keywords will pop up. Like they'll be like, do you mean? And there other things will pop up. So you can start to get an idea of like what people are searching. It may reword activities to lesson plan or emergency sub plan. That pops up sometimes a lot more than activities, right? So like you start to get to know like what are teachers looking for. It's kind of a fun thing to do. Go to Teachers Pay Teachers and search for what your product's called, and then just kind of see like how many other products pop up. Even when you're searching like a blog post you've written or for your website, you can see how many search results come back. Like if you like for your mentor text, did you see on the bottom of the page like how many other websites mention that? And then you can kind of see how good you're doing. Like if you're on the 3rd or 4th page of something really specific that you're writing about, well, you need to improve your words and your keywords. And luckily for blogs and websites, there's a lot of plugins you can get to optimize your SEO. And it'll just tell you like these words that you use in your blog post are good. And it'll give you like a green light. Like these are great, but these words nobody ever searches for. So there's a lot of tools out there. And I think learning the tools is something that really can help your business blossom, is just learning like, because I didn't know what good keywords were. And but there's so many outputs now for like typing in keywords, and then they'll just tell you like, this is not a good one. Like only, not very many people search this. Do you have anything to add, Amanda?
Yeah, actually, that's such a good tip. And I did look up when I searched middle school mentor text, 31 million hits. It says 31.
And you're the top one. That means you have good SEO. Yeah, you have excellent SEO.
Well, and that happened by accident. And it's funny because in the blog post, I have no product. Like I don't even have a product that goes to Teachers Pay Teachers in the blog post. And that's why my pop-up is so key, because the pop-up, I mean, and I do get good conversion rates on my event pop-ups, because I'm doing 3 webinars is basically what I'm doing. August 1st and 2nd and 3rd, how to plan a mini lesson, how to plan a unit, how to plan your entire year. And I'm just doing 3 webinars and people are signing up, and it's free value, but I'm not just doing the webinars. I'm also selling my big ticket, like workshop units for the entire year. So I'm using the webinars to market my expensive product. And, this is kind of getting into, like developing a marketing campaign or a launch kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, but it does all start with the description of the product, the title of the product, the description of the product, and like using keywords. And I actually just met with a coach, my YDP coach, and we were looking at my middle school information writing unit on Teachers Pay Teachers. And it was not ranking. It was ranking like on the 3rd page, information writing. And that's what it was called. I called it information writing unit or something like that. And she was like, you know what? You need to add informational. And so she told me to put, that vertical line on your keyboard. I have a Mac, so it's shift. And then like the button right below the delete button, there's this vertical line. So you can say information, and then that little line, informational writing unit. So you can add both into your product title, and then you'll rank for both. And so, yeah, like use all of the words that are allowed to make sure that you're getting the keywords that people might type for whatever your product is. Because yes, that is like selling and marketing. Like the first step is like, what keywords are you using and what keywords are people searching, and being aware of that.
Yes. Okay. So now that we've kind of talked about SEO, giving you an idea of these keywords, and once you start Googling SEO, it's kind of funny as you're Googling like something that's talking about Googling. But once you've done that, you'll see that there's a plethora of information out there. We don't want it to be confusing for you, but do know that like learning keywords or learning other words you could use that teachers might be searching for should be at the top of your mind before you're listing a product, whether it's on, I'm going to go over now like different platforms you can sell a product. Like you have a product, you've written a description, you know what you want to call it. Where can you sell it now?
And what you call it is what people are searching.
Yes, you want to call it what people are searching. And that can be a hard part about being a Teachers Pay Teachers seller or an entrepreneur is like, and sometimes if you just change one word, your sales will just go off the charts. I've had this happen too. Like some people like to say back to school, like a back to school product, but a lot of people just type in BTS. I didn't know that. I didn't know BTS was like a common acronym for back to school. So I added that to a bunch of my back to school products, and I did see an increase in sales. And then I found out that people don't like to say back to school or BTS, that they like to say first day of school. Like, I didn't know that. People type in first day of school when they want like some new activities for the first day of school. I had no idea.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, poor Jess is coughing. Okay. So yeah, that's important. So now let's talk about platforms, because there's more than just Teachers Pay Teachers. And like, if you really want to make a lot of money to replace your teaching income and quit teaching someday, you're going to want to have multiple streams of income. You can't just rely on like one product. I mean, some people can, if it's like an amazing product that really solves a huge problem. But like, if you want to make a lot of money, which Jess and I do, right, then you need to have other streams of revenue. And so like there's Teachers Pay Teachers. And then I also have, well, I'll just talk about my own business. Okay. So I have Teachers Pay Teachers, that's probably where I make the least amount of money, is on Teachers Pay Teachers. I have Kajabi, where I make the most amount of money through my workshop Teacher School. And it's all of my units for the entire year, just housed there, and all of my courses. And so that's Kajabi is another stream of income. And then I also have my website, and I have a WooCommerce plugin that has a shop on my website. I don't make that much money through that either. And those are my different streams of income. And now I have wackyteacherpreneurs.com, which is also on Kajabi. What platforms have you used for your different businesses and to sell your products, Jess?
Well, I started out selling online on eBay. I had a very successful eBay store. I made as much as I do as a teacher right now on eBay, selling tote bags and shirts, like custom tote bags and shirts. So, but eBay is for physical products, but you can sell digital books on there. I always remind teachers that your Teachers Pay Teachers products are digital books. Like you are writing digital workbooks. They're not just a PDF file. Like that's all a book is really. But I mean, it is a place to sell. But I have sold on Kajabi. I've had my own course on there. So I do agree. Kajabi is a great place because there's a lot of different things and ways you can sell on Kajabi. It's a one-stop shop, right? It's a one-stop shop. You can do everything. And then Teachable, a little more affordable and simple than Kajabi, like the things you can do on it. But I've also sold a course on Teachable. And gosh, there's been a couple of other course, like you can look up, like if you're interested in selling a course, you can look up, course platforms, right? And a whole bunch will pop up and you can check them out.
Podia is a new up and coming one.
Oh, sweet.
Podia. Have you heard of that one?
I can't even remember. Like there's a couple that I've used and I'm like drawing a blank on what they're even called, but there's always new ones popping up too. And it's just, it's fun giving them a chance, but you have to realize that you're going to have a monthly fee. They're either going to take a percentage of your sales or you're going to have a monthly fee or both. So like whatever you're selling, like that's one thing when you're shopping for a platform, you're like, I have this product. You have to look at like what is the platform hosting your product going to charge you? It's like going to a mall. You don't get free rental space on your store. You have to pay the mall owners to be there, right? Like
Rent.
You're paying these places rent to take up space with your products and your business. That's how I see it. A lot of people complain about these fees, but it really depends on like, what they're offering to. And like with Teachers Pay Teachers, I mean, all my traffic comes from Teachers Pay Teachers. I get like maybe 2% comes from Pinterest and 1% comes from me being a guest blogger on other blogs. But I get 98% of people finding my products are on Teachers Pay Teachers. So like to me, the money I'm paying Teachers Pay Teachers, I pay a yearly fee and then I pay like they take 20% of all of your product sales, right? But that's the cost of like having a place to sell all your stuff. So and so TPT, they charge 20%. Etsy, having an Etsy store, it's sort of the same. Etsy can charge per listing, just like eBay. You got to list each product, costs like 20 cents to list. And for my Shopify, I prefer Shopify over all of it because for my Shopify, I only pay $29 a month and they don't take any fees out of anything. I just have my store and I get my profits. I don't get like a profit minus a fee for my rent. I just pay like one set price per month.
Yeah, WooCommerce is once a year is a fee. It's like 200 something, which I don't think is that much. Like when you think about how much money you'll eventually make with your product, and if that's what business owners, they have to do, they have to invest. They have to spend money to make money. And I mean, that really is, I think, a hard part of being an entrepreneur. And like, when you finally realize like you do need to spend money, then I think you'll start to see growth. But if like, you're not willing to spend any money to make money, like you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I will say that I see a lot of new Teachers Pay Teachers sellers. They don't want to pay to become a premium seller.
Well, that's how that's how you sell on there. Yeah. Right.
Well, you don't have to be a premium seller on Teachers Pay Teachers, which is a $60 yearly fee, right? You don't have to pay that. You can just have them take a higher percentage of every sale.
Yeah.
But if you do the math, it's a crazy amount of extra money they want per sale. Like you'll get your $60 back by not doing that, right? And they take like a fee out too. They could take up to 30 cents a sale, and it kind of gets, I don't know, it's not worth it. If you do the math, it's not worth it. Imagine you sell 100 products. You're paying a lot more money if you don't just pay their yearly rate to be a premium seller. So you want to look at these little things.
So you're saying you need to become a premium seller. It's worth it in the end, is what we're trying to say. Like, don't just do the free option. It's a bad idea.
And if you only have one product and it's not worth that much money, like it's a $4 product and you don't plan on adding much more, then maybe you shouldn't be paying $60. But if you want to build a legit store and, you know, at least make a few hundo a month, right? Like it's worth the $60, right? It's definitely worth it. But, you know, I would say get a few products together and then make the jump. But just know that you have to invest. Investing in your business is investing in yourself too. You know, like you have to do some of these things. Okay, let's continue down the list. So WooCommerce, I feel like WooCommerce and Shopify, like I feel like they're maybe owned by the same parent company, but I don't know. Like they have a lot of the same interfaces. But yeah, and then I've used Amazon a little bit in the past. I tried selling used books on there, but now you can sell these things called digital assets. We've talked about it in previous episodes, but teachers are making money on Amazon, not just selling old books. They're selling digital assets. They're selling miniature ebooks. They're selling notebook designs, planner designs. Well, you can sell digital products on there.
Eventually, I want to write a Kindle book, like an ebook, and sell it on Amazon. So I'm definitely going to endeavor to do that. What are boom cards?
Yes, boom cards. It's kind of like Teachers Pay Teachers, and you can sell them through Teachers Pay Teachers, but it is a website. If you go to it, if you just Google boom cards, it'll pop right up. It looks exactly like Teachers Pay Teachers, but all of the lessons that you buy on there are interactive games that are called boom cards. And they're basically like, imagine like if you've ever played like a game through a Google slideshow where it's like, oh, click this button, and if you get the answer right, this thing happens, right? They're like miniature video games almost. And you can build them. They're kind of like fancy flashcards or like question cards, but you can put animations in them and sounds in them and make them really interactive and cool for kids. So if you find like you don't like the process of making a Teachers Pay Teachers product, you don't like PDF files, and you want more of like a plug and play system, that's kind of what this is it's more about, you know, maybe you just like generating a lot of questions for kids to answer. So you come up with a background, like they have background graphics to choose from, come up with a background, and then you have all of these questions, and you can just kind of like write these questions, and teachers buy the games. They like the games. And I do know a few people that they don't make as much on Boom as they do Teachers Pay Teachers, but it's good. I mean, they still make a decent profit. Like it's worth their time.
Yeah, cool. I didn't even know it existed. Okay, so those are all just some ideas of platforms you can sell your product on. Now we're kind of going to move into marketing. And as we talked about before, like one mistake that we've made in the past is just posting a product and then saying, well, I hope someone finds it, and just being done. And I honestly just did this recently. I was like, I didn't have time. I just put it on Teachers Pay Teachers. It's doing fine. Like people are actually buying it and stuff, but I didn't market it. And sometimes you just choose to do that. But if you choose to do that, realize that if you don't make any money, it's not your fault. It's not, well, it is your fault because you're not marketing, but it's not your product. Like, I think a lot of times I would put something out there in the world and then no one would buy it. And I would think like, oh, there's something wrong with it. Like no one likes it. That's not true. It's because I didn't market it. You know, I didn't market it. So let's talk about how to market our products and our services. So the thing we need to talk about is launching. So this is like a really popular term that a lot of people use left and right in the entrepreneurial world. What is a product launch? So a product launch, I'm actually getting this from masterclass.com. I love Masterclass. I pay them to get all their master classes. But a product launch is the first phase in a company's marketing strategy to introduce new goods and services to the marketplace. And according to masterclass.com, there's 3 types of product launches. There's a full scale launch, there's a minimal launch, and there's a soft launch. And Jess and I want to kind of take you behind the scenes of Wacky Teacherpreneurs and our new business. And we have not launched this yet. We're recording this all in secret right now. No one knows we're doing this except our families. And we're just doing this secretly. But eventually we're going to launch and we're going to introduce ourselves and our product and our services and this podcast and our website to the world. How are we going to do that, Jess?
So is this us brainstorming ideas about how to launch?
Yes.
Well, I think when you're looking at launching, you want to tell everyone you know. And so we have different avenues, and we each have different we have different roads we can go down with that. I mean, obviously our ideal customer is a small business owner or someone who wants to get into small business, someone who maybe already has a small business and wants to make more money. And so a smart launch would be to just focus on those people. But when you're first starting out, sometimes you don't know exactly who those people are. So you need to find a way to attract them. Sometimes it's going to be asking a general question. I know one of my plans is just to ask my social media audience, hey, are you interested in learning more about being a wacky teacher entrepreneur?
And that's like a pre-launch. So
yeah,
you haven't told anyone what we're doing, but you've definitely been inserting little clues in your Facebook group and asking questions in your Facebook group and starting to interact with those with your audience. I mean, that's really what a launch is you are engaging your audience, and you are, And I think I also want to talk about how to do that, but also that. I think as an entrepreneur, all these years, there were times when I was told by big guru entrepreneurs, you don't have to be everywhere all at once. Just pick one marketing avenue, and there's many different ones, right? There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's TikTok now, there's YouTube, there's podcasting. All of these are different marketing avenues, different ways that you can get your product out to the world and knowledge about your product out to the world. And I've been told, you don't have to do it all, but when you launch, you do need to be everywhere, as many places as you can, because it's the excitement, it's the building the excitement. And after your launch, yes, only pick a few channels to be on, right? And we're picking podcasting. That's our number one marketing tool that Jess and I have chosen because we're good at it. We are good at blabbing on and on and on about this stuff. It's fun and we're good at it. So pick what's fun and what you're good at, moving past your launch. But when you launch, you got to be everywhere, and that's hard, as a one-woman show for sure.
Yeah. So I think for us, it's going to be telling our social media audiences, for me, right? You have an email list. Maybe you could drop some crumbs to them. And I have a Facebook group about being a teacher entrepreneur. And I mean, there's a lot of different things we can do. I mean, just sometimes just even telling your friends about what you're doing will make them tell other people. Right. And so I don't know, I know that we could get really creative and create something that people might want to give us their email. That's always something you could do. Oh, here's a short quiz you can take, but you got to give me your email if you want my quiz, right? Or here's a short, we a long time ago when we had TPT Life, we made a teachers pay teachers checklist. And we had like, if you wanted our checklist, you had to give us your email so we could send it to you. Right.
Yeah.
And so like, there's a lot of things you can do to get people excited that something is coming. But a lot of times it's just telling them something's coming and then telling them what it is. Right. Like kind of like dropping some breadcrumbs. And then, you know, in 3 days, I am doing something so cool. And I'm going to be so excited to tell you all about it. Well, regardless of where you talk to people at. Right.
Well, and I think we should do a live event, you know, like we should, for our launch, do a live event, like a webinar. And I do think for people like Jess and I that really like to be on camera and like to talk and like to be goofy, a webinar is really a great place to kind of do a launch, I think, because it's like a big live event that people can attend, you know. But like, what if you're not someone who likes to be on camera or likes to talk a lot? And we're talking about personal brands, by the way. We didn't really talk about that in our branding episode, like personal branding versus like just being kind of a business brand. And there's a difference. And I think kind of the teacherpreneur world is more geared towards personal brands where your face is always out there and your personality is always out there. What do you think? Like, what's a good way to launch without putting yourself out there so much, which is, I don't know, is that possible?
Well, I know you told me that you didn't really feel comfortable with social media after a while. Not like you didn't feel comfortable with your personality, but you were getting burnt out on it.
Yes.
So you taught yourself how to do Facebook ads, right?
Yes. Yes. I did teach myself how to do Facebook ads. And I know a lot of people think that's super scary. And it is scary because you're spending money to make money. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're spending money, like that can be really scary. And so I do recommend, you know, buying a course or like getting support if you're going to do Facebook ads. And I definitely have recommendations of great places to go. If you are interested in Facebook ads, Amy Crane, if you search Amy Crane, I mean, she's the one that taught me all about Facebook ads. I love her. She's awesome. But yeah, so like paid marketing and, you know, getting like really cool graphics and those and finding your audience through Facebook ads is really, I mean, if you don't like being on video and you don't like running live events and things, yeah, Facebook ads is definitely, and like even for just a TPT product, you know, there's people who make a lot of money promoting just one product or one bundle or whatever. And their Facebook ad is so awesome. And they just keep it running nonstop because the amount of money they make selling the product is, you know, greater than the amount that it costs to pay for the ad. Right. And that's really, but then you got to do some math, you know?
Yeah. And I've done Instagram ads and Instagram story ads. It's probably kind of like the same thing. You do have to learn how to do them. Like you don't have to show your face. You can just show a picture, right? You can even boost a post on Instagram. So like more people are seeing it in their feed. And then you could link your product in that. And I know you can do the same thing on TikTok now. So like on the social, like I'm more of a social media person, but I do know a lot of teachers with huge businesses that they didn't even show their faces for 6 or 7 years because they didn't want like people in their district to recognize them. And they still grew gigantic platforms just by being creative, asking people a question, like getting people to talk to you and ask them a question. And now on all the social media platforms, it's not about like posting a picture, it's about posting a short video, but you can turn like a question into a video. You know, I did a couple of weeks ago, I had to make an advertisement for this trip to Greece that I'm going on next summer. I'm leading a trip to Greece. And I was feeling not the best. I was feeling kind of sick. So I took a letter board And I just said, come with me to Greece in 2023. And I took a picture, like, first the C, I took a picture of the board, and then the O. I did like my own stop animation. Right. So like, and I just posted it as a reel. And our trip, I mean, it sold out because, another person was working on the campaign too. And they sold a lot more spots than I did, but we did sell out the first day, just by having some sort of video catches the eye, right? It's all about video now, but like, there's a lot of ways to do it if you're shy and you don't want to put your face out.
Well, and you just brought up another like marketing strategy, which is the urgency, like like there's a time limit. That's really important. So if you're doing like a product launch, maybe there's a discount you're giving when you first launch it, and that discount ends, so there's like time urgency, but maybe there's also like a limited number of, people get this. And so that's really important when you're launching something, is having that. I feel like there's another word, urgency, and something else.
I think urgency is the right.
No, there's
term.
there's two different ones, but that's okay. Whatever. It's fine. But yeah, that's important. Okay. So I think we've talked. So for our launch plan, are we going to do a webinar? Are we going to, I'm going to email my whole list. You're going to email your whole list multiple times, not just once, right? But my list is full of writing and reading workshop teachers. I have like 10,000 people on my list, and they're reading and writing workshop teachers. What the heck? Well, maybe some of them are I'm going to craft an email because I already have all those people. But are they teacher entrepreneurs? Not necessarily. So I'm going to tag them in my email. I'm going to say, like, are you interested in this? Like, these things, I'm going to be teaching about these things. Like, I'm super excited, whatever, write the email. And then I'm going to have a button that they click to show interest. And if they click that button in Kajabi, I can tag them. And then that will put them into like a separate, like I can look up that tag, teacherpreneurs or whatever. And then like, maybe I'll have 100 people who raise their hand and say, yes, I am interested. I am an interested teacherpreneur. And this is email marketing, right? Like, that's why having a list is so key, because, you can survey these people and find out, more about them and their interest in things. I feel like I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. We all do. I'll probably go more with like my Instagram, and I'll put up a poll, right? And I'll be like, are you a small business owner, or are you interested in learning more about Teachers Pay Teachers? One time I launched a business, maybe it was a course. I don't remember what I did. This was like 4 years ago. And I offered them, like, I had a whole drawer of these, like, I shouldn't be saying this secret online, but I had a whole drawer of, like, this is kind of weird, but when kids give you gift cards, like I had a whole drawer of a Starbucks gift cards, and I live like 200 miles from a Starbucks, right? So I had all these Starbucks gift cards in my drawer, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just bribe people to fill out my survey. And so I told people, I'm going to give away one of you that fills out the survey. I'm giving you this $20 Starbucks gift card, right? Let's just straight up bribe people with something you have around the house. I'm not saying like you need to tell them it was just around the house, but like a lot of teachers love Starbucks. Like $5 Starbucks gift card, you can get a lot of information out of people for that. And so and it was all about, like, I think it was about being a small business owner. I think that's what I was talking about. I don't even remember what I was talking about at the time, like what I was trying to sell. I don't even know what it was, but I'm like, if you're interested in winning the Starbucks gift card, here's my survey. And I got a lot of information out of them. Like, would you be interested in this? Or how much money would you pay for this? Or what grades do you teach and for how long? That can be kind of relevant to your business. You get a better idea of who might be interested in you. Out of these 5 topics, which one excites you the most? So I asked them like a whole series of questions that I could use. And I think I was developing a course, but I was using that to develop the course. And then I'm like, would this interest you if I emailed you again? Right. And then I put them like on my email list if they said yes. So sometimes you could just do the silliest little thing, give away a book you don't want anymore, give away an old Starbucks gift card, offer them $5. You never know. I mean, you could be meeting your ideal customer. And, they're of course doing it for the Starbucks, right? But you could also be changing their lives by making that initial connection with the bribe.
Yeah. So like our launch plan is we're going to, well, I mean, so are we going to do a webinar or are we just going to be sharing our episodes? Like, I feel like that's another piece of it because we're pre-recording 7 episodes and we're going to shoot those out all at once, right? Like when you launch a podcast, for example, you need to have, and you told me this, Jess, I don't know where you learned this, but you need to have like 6 or 7 up and ready to go. Like you publish them all at once so that people can binge listen. Is that right?
Yeah, you're more likely to get subscribers to your podcast if you have more than 1 or 2 episodes to listen to. The target number is like 6, 7, 8 episodes. And that way, if they really like you and they want to keep on listening, they're going to like binge listen to you in a short time period. And they're more likely to, go visit your website, get to know you a little bit better. You know what I mean? So, I mean, and I know you have brought up the webinar a lot, and like I totally do want to do that, but like I think like one reason our partnership works is like you're very versed in areas I'm not. Like I have no idea what a webinar is. Like I don't go to them and I've never held one, but that is like your bread and butter. Like you love webinars, and I know I love being on camera and I love talking to people and I love live events. So I'm sure I'm going to love a webinar.
That's all
you know
a
what I
webinar
mean?
is. That's
Yeah,
all a
but like
webinar is.
I've never done one. So like, of course, yes, but I'm just saying like you're bringing your cards to the table, right? Email list, webinar, your websites, your website building skills, right? And I'm bringing my cards to the table, which are more like my social media audience, getting people excited through there, my Facebook group, developing a TikToks, like making videos on social media. So like, I think what we're going to do, like our plan is really to combine our skills, like not just pick one skill or another. Like we're going to do all the skills, right? Like we're going to combine all of our forces combined to get as in as many people's ears as we can with this. And I think what's hard is like, if you might be listening to this and you might be thinking, wow, that's great for them, but I'm just, one person with one product. Well, you do have connections. You do have friends. You do have teacher friends. Like I have seen teacher entrepreneurs talk to people in their building and they just ask them like, hey, if I gave you my product for free, would you write a review for me? And maybe like, or would you share about my product on your personal Facebook page? Like, I mean, so many people, like a lot more people than you think you do. And I'm talking to like the listener right now, not just Amanda.
Yeah,
right.
no.
But like,
Well, and they can reach out to influencers like you and say, hey, what do you think of this product? Like, would you be willing to share it in like a story, Jess, the whimsical teacher? Like you can even reach out to like big name people. And that's what's so great about social media is you can like, direct message people or even email people and like really be formal and professional and like kind and like, so it's another way that you could really reach others, or just like the paid route. You can pay for ads on Pinterest, you can pay for ads on Facebook, you can pay for Google ads. All of those things are ways that you can market yourself as well, which speaking of that, so let's kind of transition from launching to like the types of marketing. Right? Should we do that? Because we've kind of already talked a lot about.
I feel like we've already talked about all of them, like email marketing, paid marketing.
So
social media marketing. I think we've already talked about all of them, but we haven't talked about affiliate marketing. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, we're just starting to get more and more into that, but like whatever, like if there's a product, you know, that you love, I mean, you could make money promoting it. You know, like right now I'm in your data playback book, YDP, Jarrett and Beth's new business, and I love it. And I've become an affiliate. And so now whenever they launch and they close it, that's another thing that you can do. Like if you have a membership or you have like a big product on or a course, you open it certain times and close it. So there's a deadline and that urgency factor. So whenever they open it, I'm going to be promoting it on this podcast, you know, and so that's affiliate marketing. What other? Kajabi, becoming an affiliate of Kajabi, Amazon. I do this all the time in my blog posts. Like I'll, you know, if I have a list of books that I love, like professional development books that I recommend teachers read, I have an Amazon affiliate account. And so it's really easy to set them up. And so I just look up the book, and then Amazon generates this URL link. And then I link that on my blog post, and anyone who clicks it and buys it, I get commission. And you have to like say, you know, this is an Amazon affiliate link, but you know, you don't have to just market your own products. You could market other people's products. And that's what affiliate marketing is.
You could, or like, I'm thinking flipping the coin. Like we're talking about, like you have a product and you want to sell it, right? You could sell it through, you know, the social media, paid marketing, email marketing. You could sell your product through affiliate marketing by basically, like, that's what we're talking about, asking influencers to like give them your product for free, or give someone your product for free, and then see if they're willing to talk about it on their social media, or give you a shout out, or post your link. Like you can kind of flip the coin on affiliate marketing. And, you know, like you have this product, you want to sell it, you can, you know, ask people, hey, but you have to be willing to give it to them for free. And I've done this with a lot of courses. I'm thinking about, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't really want a teachers pay teacher store, right? Like, I don't, that's not really my thing, but I do want to make a lot of money. I do want to build a successful business. It could be that you are a course builder. You're more of like a service-based business, maybe. Like you want to teach other people through coaching. And I think to get people interested in that, sometimes you have to give away those services for free. And then I have had a lot of people reach out to me like, hey, Jess, I just made a course. Would you like to be a part of it? Like, or would you like the course for free? And then if you like it, can you share it with people? You know, and it depends on my relationship with the person. Like if I've never heard from them and it's a cold message, I say, no, I don't. I'm not going to do that for you. Sorry. But because you have to build a relationship with people. But I have said yes to a lot of people that I've been friendly with. And then if I like their course, I'll talk about it on my social media. I'll put their links in. So you got to think about like, you know, like, yep, you could definitely make money, you know, in this business through marketing other businesses, but you can also kind of flip the coin and figure out a way that people want to promote you.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Do we want to talk about funnels, or do we want to save that for another episode? I feel like that is getting even more advanced.
Yeah, I think we should save funnels for later. And that should have kind of gone under email marketing, right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You definitely, funnels definitely involve emails. So yeah, we'll have a whole other episode. Honestly, we could have entire episodes on these things.
And we might.
Yeah,
as
we
time
will.
goes on.
We will for sure. But we should wrap it up.
I see the last thing on our list is the killing two birds with one stone type of marketing. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. We are recording this podcast on Zoom, but Zoom is not only a sound, you know, a way of recording your sound, but also video. So we're recording ourselves on video. We're going to post the video to YouTube. YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. Like Google's number one, YouTube's number 2. So, you know, we're hoping that by posting our videos on YouTube, people like you, maybe you're watching us on YouTube right now. Hi.
And you have like the best background in this episode, and we haven't even mentioned it yet.
I know. I hope it's appropriate for, like, I don't even know what I wanted a comic book background, and I just found this crazy one, but I love comic books. Like, I love comic book font and comic books, and I'm really into that. But you have a cool background too.
Well, I feel like I'm in Poltergeist.
I feel like
help me.
Kind of, but Poltergeist is in the northern. You have the northern lights behind you. That's so cool.
Well, and I'm stuck in a TV or a microwave. It could
let me ask you a quick question. I know you're turning 40 soon. Did you have a TV like this when you were a kid? Because we did. I did.
And you had to turn the knobs to turn the channel.
Yeah. We had a bunch of these black and white TVs, just like what Amanda's in right now. But imagine her black and white, and no remotes. You had to get up to turn it on, and then you had to turn these buttons. It looks like a microwave to me now, right? It looks like you're trapped in a microwave.
Yep.
Anyway, this is my example of, you know, a lot of times, like, work smarter, not harder, right? Like, we're creating a YouTube channel and a podcast at the same time. You can do it too. Right here, we have Reels and TikTok. I actually get paid to make Reels on Instagram, and it's the same. I can make up to $1,200 a month on my Reels. It's the same as TikTok. Like, it's the same interface. A couple of the buttons are different. So a lot of times at first I found it easier to make a TikTok. Like, I do better with the TikTok interface, and TikTok has better music, although you can't really transport the music to Instagram, but I just had a better time making things on TikTok. So my first few times having to make a video for my Instagram, I went on TikTok and I learned the whole how to do it, right? I knew what I wanted to do, so I taught myself. And you can save the TikTok then on your phone as a video, and then you can upload it on Instagram. And I did that. So you can, you know, just create one set of, you know, one video you can repurpose for so many different things. A video you can post on a Facebook group, on Facebook. You could send a video out in an email, right? Put it on your YouTube channel. Use it on all the social medias. I mean, a video goes a long way because you can extract the sound. And I know a lot of people, even crafters in my Glowforge business, they video themselves making the product, because then they can repurpose that content and they can put it on YouTube. And like, I have one of my little products right here. So I could just show myself. It's really hard to see. It's not going to work with my comic book background, maybe in front of me. So like, I could show myself, like, this is 3 layers of wood. I could show myself designing each layer and then putting them all together. And then I could put that on YouTube. And then that's another way, like, someone might be looking for, but of course I'm going to title it what I want my buyers to search for. So I'm going to title it Cute Ideas for Mother's Day. And this is a sign that says Happy Mother's Day. And then it has all the person's kids' names in each one of the heart. It's for a grandma. It's actually a grandma that I know. So these are all the grandma's children and grandchildren, all in the family tree. And so I'm going to put, when I put like how I made this sign, I wouldn't put watch me make a wooden sign, right? Or like, look at my Glowforge cut wood. Like, that's actually what's in the video though. But I'm going to put, you know, cute and clever, creative Mother's Day grandma present. Right? Because I want someone to be like, what should I get my grandma for Mother's Day? You know, or, you know, grandma's, you know, great present for grandma, right? Like something like that. And it's going to show me just sitting there filming me preparing the wood, getting the wood ready, staining the wood, There's a lot of like, you have to tape the wood so it doesn't burn. It's going to show me doing all this boring stuff to wood. But what I'm hoping is like a behind the scenes video will make people want to buy the product.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and another idea for repurposing, the whole reason I started my podcast, my workshop teacher podcast, I just decided that all of my blog posts, my old blog posts, could become podcast episodes. And so every single episode I have is just me talking about one of my blog posts. So like, think about other stuff you've created in the past and how you can repurpose it and bring it back to life, through other avenues. Right?
Yeah. And if I'm being honest, my first few Teachers Pay Teachers products, I was looking at old things I had to make for graduate school, right? I was looking at because I had to make all these lessons for graduate school. And I was looking back through binders and lessons I had already made for school. And technically, you're not supposed to be selling like the lessons you make for your public school job on Teachers Pay Teachers, but that's what I just needed like the inspo and a lot of like the original outlines. Of course, I jazzed them up a bunch, but a lot of my original outlines were things I had already thought of.
Wait, did you just say inspo?
Inspo.
Is that a new trending word, or did you just make that up?
I've been saying inspo since 1993. What do you mean?
That's the first time I've ever. I thought you said it by accident, but you truly meant to say inspo.
It's
well, I hope everyone's had gotten some inspo from this.
This is like when you said that you were on the Pat Flynn podcast. I was like, oh yeah, she was on it on her phone. You said it a couple times. I was like, oh yeah, she was looking at it through Spotify. No, she wasn't actually on it. I thought, oh, Amanda's just being crazy right now. She wasn't actually on the podcast. She was looking at it, but I'm like, she just must use prepositions in a different way.
No, I met Pat Flynn. I actually talked to him in person.
I did not believe you. I'm sorry. I just thought you were saying things funny. I thought you were you were searching something and you landed on, and I was like, yeah, that's what she must it was so beyond what I could imagine. I'm not saying that it's hard to believe. I didn't think of that when you said it.
Okay. Can I just tell the people who are listening right now, if you're still listening, you're our super fans, which super fans, Pat Flynn wrote a book called Super Fans. Yeah.
No.
And so I'm just saying, if you're listening right now, you're a super fan because you've been listening this whole time. You just admit it to yourself. Admit it.
Thank you for being a super fan.
Yes. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Should we wrap this up now? We've been going off. I got out a wooden sign.
I know.
About grandmas. Yes. Nothing to do with being a teacher entrepreneur.
Yes, it did. You were teaching marketing strategies and SEO. Okay, let's do this. What's the next episode about? I'm excited.
Have another episode?
We do, I think, unless you don't want to do it anymore. But
what's it called?
It's called Scaling and Multiple Streams of Revenue.
Yeah, I think, I just think we shouldn't go off too much.
Okay, we'll make it more efficient and yeah. Okay, we're not gonna. Let's not go on. We need to say goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.